every time you say something, I'd be like, yes, high five. I'm like, I need to be there when they recording just so I can be like, yeah, in the back and shit.
All right.
Sorry. My bad.
We recording?
Yeah. We on.
Oh.
Episode 16.
16.
They brought me back, y'all.
You
Again.
see who we got here, right?
My daishiki.
So I'm putting the disclaimer out there, even though you already know.
Yeah, we should do the disclaimer.
There's gonna be a lot
episode.
of. They gonna be swearing.
Yeah.
Sorry, whoever is counting the F-bombs, your ticker about
You
to
might
be
wanna
on,
get the ticker up to that.
It's like, do you know them days when you forget to wear your Fitbit and you don't walk 300 This your day.
It's gonna be like counting steps.
They got us all here together.
Yeah.
Sorry. All right. What we doing today?
You want to read?
You want me to do my announcement?
Yeah.
Well, I just found out. If you visit Ethics Beauty Supply in Springfield, Mass. at 1142 State Street, and you mention the illustrious crew of Mike Paper Scissors, you will get 10% off your purchase. Now, I wonder what would happen if you showed up with Lynette at Ethics Beauty Supply. I
Would
almost
you get
said
more for getting
like
for
20%?
actually having a
Yes.
member with you?
Like-
Bring a member.
and she can
That's
get
a
a
good
wig the
question.
same
That's a
day
good question.
that you get a wig.
You might have to organize-
What's up, Ethics?
But
Because you
might
know,
have to
low
do-
key, she like the spokesman for Ethics.
Ethics.
I'm saying I gotta get there. I gotta go visit.
But how do you get Lynette to come with you? You might have to do.
I don't know. Maybe.
have to
I mean,
pay for
Lynette
your
is a
5%.
pretty dope chick. I'm just putting her out there. But I mean, you know how y'all be doing giveaways and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Just
Yeah.
saying. Don't
That's
stalk
a good
Lynette off this.
We'll
She
keep-
has no idea I'm saying this, so don't
Hold on, what are you saying?
don't go up to
Are you
Lynette like,
saying-
I heard if you go with me to the hair store, I can get no, don't do it. Sorry, Lynette.
Shout out to Ethics.
Shout out to Lynette too when she couldn't be here
Yeah.
today. So, you know, we got the F-bomb extraordinaire, not the poet extraordinaire, the F-bomb extraordinaire.
Motherfucker is my favorite word. Like you could use it anywhere.
It's so flexible.
It is.
Yeah, that's why like when I don't know, man. Look, man. I know some of y'all don't like it when I swear too much, but I mean, I can't do nothing about that.
You gotta be you.
Yeah,
You know.
and it's already ingrained.
It
in
is
me.
uncensored, unfiltered. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's out there.
Thank y'all for keep listening though. If you
Yes.
have to get to bleed, I don't know how you get through it with me swearing,
Right.
but I appreciate you for still listening. even
If
though-
y'all donate and sponsor some episodes, maybe they could get a button that goes bloop when you say the F word, and then when I come, it's just gonna be like.
the whole episode, right?
But I'm just saying, y'all should donate so they can keep going and, you know, get supplies and, you know,
Yeah.
buy a studio and video cameras and be national and worldwide and
Yeah,
That's
international.
That's the
a good
goal.
plan.
That's the
I'm putting
goal.
that in the universe. It's gonna happen. This is a dope show.
That's
Why,
what we
why
trying
not?
to do.
Why not?
Dope.
But
Dope.
I have to be
Dope.
like the live studio audience when I'm not a guest, so that I
Right.
can high five Creamy everything we agree on. Because y'all don't know, I be watching this at 4 a.m. like trying to be quiet, so I don't know. Like yes, that's my
All right, so
right
all right,
here.
we're gonna get this party started with some good old talk about racism. And y'all can throw in whatever topics y'all want to, but
These motherfuckers.
What kind of racism?
Well,
all racism.
All the racism.
I'ma open it
all
up.
all the racism.
All the racism.
Can I open it up? sis?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna open it up with this story you share. I didn't see it until you sent it to me about the principal in Houston who sent a memo to the parents talking about don't show up in your bonnets and your do-rags
Oh.
and your little
Pajama
holy
pants
t-shirts
and-
and all of that. Now here's my problem with that. My mama raised me, do not go into the streets with your house clothes on the outside. So I don't do that. I've been a little lenient and I've worn my head wrap outside because, you know, running errands had to preserve the look until the show. You know what I'm saying? But I encourage my children not to wear their bonnets out. They don't listen, you know, children. Anyway, I say all of this to say, who are we to police how people show up?
Right.
You know, we don't know nobody's story. We don't know what's going on. And I bring this up because of racism, because this goes into the whole respectability politics and our proximity to white people. And I think the whole reasoning for patrolling this. It has nothing to do with bonnets and do-rags and sundresses frying chicken. It has everything to do with policing black women's behavior. Everything.
Oh wow, that's what you think?
That's what I absolutely, because people have done it, and I normally don't do this where I dig up pictures of white people doing the same thing black people did. But there are if you go to my page, there are right now pictures that I found of white women in their rollers from the 1950s through today.
Oh, I seen that. I seen that.
With rollers in their hair, in their yoga outfits. So it's okay to go to the grocery store in your workout clothes, but not if your name is Keisha. Like, come on, y'all. That's some BS. That's some BS.
I thought everybody did that. Well, not everybody.
There's a sect of people in each culture that does that.
That does it, right, exactly.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
Everybody showed up like that.
And then we already hear the whole thing, black parents don't show up for the PTO meetings, for this meeting, for that. Now you really gonna keep them from showing up because you expect her to show up ready with her good clothes on every day. Like,
I kind of don't have an issue with what she did.
It just bothered me.
You know what's funny? Like, I'm sitting here thinking about it. I wonder if it's more like because like a man, right? So like, even if I throw on some clothes, it ain't gonna be no bonnet. Well, you know what I mean? I mean, you might.
We see black men out.
Are you going up to the school with your pajamas on though?
I don't go anywhere in my pajamas.
But hold on, let's talk about pajamas.
Other than to the curb. Like.
Okay, but no.
I sleep in my drawers and
but for the ones that do wear them, like. Is it appropriate to go up to the it's like real pajamas, like the
characters,
and all that.
But that's a culture. People started doing that when they started making these pajama pants, or maybe they started making these pajama pants because people was doing that. I don't know.
That don't make it right to go up to the school.
They go to Walmart like that. Like who?
That still don't make it right.
Why? What is it doing to you if someone shows up somewhere in their pajama pants? What is it doing to you personally?
Personally, it's not doing anything to me. It's just
exactly.
It's just
It's just you want somebody to show up the way that you would show up.
I mean,
you don't know their life, and I'm not saying you because I'm just saying you because you're saying here. But in general, that's how we police people, and that's how oppression starts to happen. And we start telling people what they should be doing versus what. Just let them live their life. Live and let live.
Are you going up to your kids' school?
Hell no.
Why not?
Because that is not how I carry myself. I don't choose to do those things.
Okay.
I choose to get dressed and look like I got up this morning and took a shower.
My issue is I just feel like you should look a little bit more presentable when going to.
Why?
I mean, is this a quick drop off? Because if I'm pulling up and I'm dropping off, man, you better leave me alone.
I don't know what it is. What if it's the PTO meeting and you showed up in your pajama pants?
What if it's a parent-teacher conference? What if it's a principal-teacher conference? Like,
what if? What does my outfit have to do with anything that we about to discuss? If I can speak and I can hear.
I hear you.
But if that's the case, there's so many times where what you're wearing, like it counts. It's like there's prejudice, there's stereotype and all that.
There's racism.
Like what you're wearing, there's racism. But what you're wearing, like whether if you're half butt naked, a woman, you know what I mean? There's gonna be
judgment passed.
Yeah, exactly.
There's judgment passed. But who are we to send a memo to people and say, do not show up?
Yeah.
If you don't look like this.
Right.
Don't show up for your kid if you look like this. Don't show up for anything at this building that is the school if you look like this. And I know people are saying that there's some inappropriateness where the dresses are too short or the leggings are showing too much.
Yeah,
you don't know these people's life.
It might be.
But hold on, don't show up at the school with your butt cheeks out, man.
It might be wrong, but
some bullshit.
I ain't mad at old girl for doing it. I ain't mad at her.
I'm very mad. It lends to respectability politics and oppression and silencing.
What is it?
It's like the policy now. Yeah. Like they will turn you away if you show up out of dress code.
I'm not gonna. If that happened to me and I was turned away, that's when me and my kid might have to.
What if someone deemed what you're wearing right now is not appropriate for?
Oh, if anyone deemed what I was wearing at any point,
what
I was wearing, I would tell them they better get the fuck out my damn face. Like I don't got anything like I don't. You know what I mean? But and that's kind of like that's a blanket thing. Look, if you don't like any of the shit that I, you know what I mean, I might have to go ahead, man. If you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you.
Get them light skin, get them.
You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna be me.
But that's how but that's exactly.
Yeah.
Why can't they be them? And I don't know, but I just know that there is there's always this control factor over like the people we deem hood or ghetto, and you know that people always make that statement. Well, they making us look bad.
Right.
Who?
So let me
who we look bad to.
So there was that situation there. But let me put a little spin on it, right? So there was a situation I remember that happened locally not too long ago where a memo was sent out because parents were showing up and they were smelling like weed when they were going to pick up their kids.
Yes.
Like, is that the same? Is it different? Do you feel
Are they blowing weed on the children?
Nah, but they're walking in, smelling. You know what
weed smells
right?
like.
Exactly,
Yes.
right. And when you smoke a gang of weed,
beautiful smell.
so now you walk.
No, but seriously.
So now you walk into wherever this place, a school or what have you, or whatever, and you smell like a gang of weed. You know what I mean? And the other kids smell that, the other parents smell that, the other professionals or whatever. Smell that. Is it wrong? Is it? I mean, I personally think.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think if I go pick up my kid, you know what I mean. I don't want to bust in the joint smelling like weed and have the whole place. You know what I mean.
But all of this lends to the judgment that we place on people who smell like weed, show up in bonnets. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you ain't blowing weed on the children or the administration, like you ain't show up with an active blunt in your hand.
Yeah, right, in your hand.
Who cares what you smell like? People show up musty all the time. It offends me. They don't get to not come in. Like I don't know. Like I mean, there's perfumes and colognes. I hate Old Spice, but old men swim in that shit and then come out into the world. Stop. I should send a memo about that. Being Old Spice.
Being Old
Spice.
Spice.
I mean, who? But all I'm saying is like, who are we to judge these things? Obviously, there are places where you might not want to show up smelling like weed. I mean, let's be. I'm using common sense.
But if we take away all judgment, we taking away like standards too, though. Like we ain't got
people be so rude.
I got an issue with both, and you know, it's what it is.
Yeah, right.
It
because
is.
like at some point there should be some kind of standards though too. Like like the whole no judgment thing, and I think that's kind of like where there's a lot of times people just let them do their thing. It's their money, let them spend it how they want to. Like, I think a little bit of judgment is okay. I think a little bit of criticism is okay because I think that there is a standard to be upheld. You know what I mean? So like somebody should. But
who's deciding the standard?
Well, in this case, this is maybe the school that's deciding it. Look, the standard should be when you come. I mean, I have less of an issue with the pajamas than I have with the weed. Yeah. But pajamas at the PTO meeting might be a little OD. PTO is at like 6:00. You know what I mean?
Maybe you work third shift. I don't know.
All right, we're not gonna get nowhere on this. we gonna spend some time on it.
I'm sorry. I don't like.
No, we just
live and let live. Like if you're not murdering people and raping children and women. I
feel I wanted to talk about.
Raping anyone.
Like just racism overall. Like my burning question, and it's not even really a burning question, but. Why don't white people want to own racism?
Oh, I saw you put up a post about dismantling racism.
Why you gotta own it? You gotta own it. Why don't they want to own it?
Because
like own it how? Like the ones that are racist or that it exists or
like they all have to own it because their ancestors are the ones who created, developed, brought it to life, whatever word you want to use. So, I mean, you have to own it.
They do not have to deal with the effects of racism.
But they're the same ones crying.
That we as white people have to deal with.
But then the same ones crying, why does it always have to be about race? Like, y'all created it.
Yeah, that's why.
I mean,
Yeah, so are you saying like because they mad sensitive and don't want to talk about it? Or because they benefit from
it? Kind of both. Like I feel like y'all just have they have to own it.
Well, I mean, I'm a mother of a lot of kids, and what I know is when my children are doing something that they know they shouldn't be doing, and I say, because I have some adult kids and some not adults, but when I'm like telling them like, you know, that wasn't right, there's a lot of resistance to the correction, if you will, or like me saying like, you should have thought about that a little better, or maybe you should have did this thing. It's like, what do you mean? You know, so there's a lot of resistance to that. So I feel like, you know, like with racism, when you present it to white people, and even like white people who are not being like blatantly racist, like they just
maybe they just don't recognize.
They did some messed up shit. Like I worked with a chick once, and she was like, yeah, because the wetbacks, and I was like, yo, be easy, you cannot say that. She was like, that's what everybody in my neighborhood says, and I was like, no. And so, you know, you have to, like, she was willing to learn, but I think that there are people who are like, no, it's not me, it's not, but they know that that's what's happening. It's just easier to pretend like I'm not.
Like it's not there. They act like it's invisible.
Yeah.
It's kind of.
And what made me think of it was, you know, like we talking about the police shootings.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand it. They're not gonna address it because it's not their kids it's happening to. So to them, it's just skewed. Wow, it's happening.
Right.
And they just keep on moving instead of address it.
Right.
But it's not. But that's the thing. It's like they're here, and there's this thing happening around them. They're not affected in the way that we are.
But and isn't that kind of what like almost anybody does with just different issues or whatever?
Yeah.
If it's not directly your thing and it's not affecting you, then like
we're not handicapped. So do you really care that there's not a wheelchair accessible entrance into your house? Although your house is very wheelchair accessible. That example. But I'm just saying, you know, like, do you care that certain places are not? You know.
I think you can only recognize the issues that you're like close to. You know what I mean?
Like we can talk about how you got the whole drug issue, like heroin tore through our community through the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Oh yeah, now.
But as soon as it hit the suburbs and it hit them, oh my gosh, they up in a frenzy. Yeah. We gotta do this, we gotta do that. They want to address it now
because they control the narrative.
And it's hitting their area.
Yeah, as we all know, drugs were brought into the black community for a purpose.
Right.
And when that purpose spilled, it's affecting the wrong people now. Mm-hmm. Like it's the wrong people
it's like
are
backfired on them.
Yeah,
and you know what I think? What I saw too is like the way that like you know I saw like a girl who like passed away over overdose or whatever. The way that her parents like advocated for that and kind of like took it off of her too and took the responsibility away from her. Like they wanted the drug dealer to get like arrested or whatever. But when it becomes their issue, they run with it in a different kind of way than we do. But because I don't know.
And they have the power to do that.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So I remember back in the day, there was this judge. I don't know if he's still in the system, but there was a judge whose daughter passed away from a drug overdose, and because he was a judge in the system, he was locking people up like you know, first time selling weed and they getting 20 years, like you know, because for him it was my daughter was smoking weed once and then it led to these things, so it's like I'm punishing everybody to the fullest extent, and it's like, but they have the power to do that. They have the power to shift the care or shift the narrative in any direction that they want it to go.
Right.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah.
And my question is because I saw your post about, you know, what it's their responsibility to dismantle the system that they maintain and benefit from. But would you dismantle a system? I'm not saying that they shouldn't.
No, I hear what you're saying.
But would you?
It's working for them.
Yeah,
like why should we take it apart?
Yeah, my water ain't brown. Why I gotta turn it off? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, or like it's even the whole idea of like take it off of racism, but global warming, right? So I remember growing up in school and being taught like things that the Native Americans said, like Native American proverbs, and one of them was you have to take care of the earth now for the future, for your children. Like you don't take care of the earth because of you take care of it for the future. So now we're in a system like all of the stuff we doing, we know it's destroying the earth.
Right.
Are we gonna stop?
Yeah, right. Because Is it?
It's about to be messed up for our grandkids.
Let's be arrogant and cocky and act like it's not there.
Not
and
really
just keep it going. So I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, right.
Same thing.
Yo, is racism the same like around the world though?
I think so, because it's a unspoken like rule across the world that the darker skinned people are treated lesser.
And then the way we're portrayed on TV, and it gets disseminated everywhere.
Yeah.
So they look at us like, okay, now we know how to treat them.
But what race is the race? You know what I mean? Like is that more like colorism that happens, or is it? You know what I mean? Like what? Because like in America, you know what I mean? It's black.
It was colonialism. The invaders, they went
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah,
and they
that's true.
preached
right.
white is right, and anything that's not even remotely close to it is dead ass wrong.
Yeah, right,
you know what I mean?
right,
Like everywhere. They did that everywhere that they went. The colonizers.
The colonizers.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I just think about like everything, so much stuff. Like growing up as a kid, I used to think that the General Lee was like the dopest car in the world.
Right, and then find it out.
Right.
I did too. I used to love that show.
I'm watching Cleopatra. They had Elizabeth Taylor's ass playing Cleopatra
Right.
out of Egypt.
Because
Yeah,
they get
right.
to control the narrative.
And have you ever noticed like they always try to like break Egypt away from Africa, like it's its
Yeah,
own
yo,
way.
for the longest, I did not know that Egypt
Yeah.
was in Africa. I think I was like 18 when I found out. I was like, holy
Yeah.
shit, what?
Yeah,
I
right.
was right there. Like, it's a whole separate entity.
Yeah.
But it's not even, like, the people that live there now aren't even the original people. Like, it's a lot of Middle Eastern and Arab people.
And I hate the fact that they
area.
they give all these props to the Greeks and for everything they do. Like,
Yeah.
yo, y'all came to Africa and stole
it.
everything,
Right.
And then
and they
blew
tried
it
to
up.
claim it.
I mean, and we're shown a lot
And
of things
blew it
too.
up,
Like, you know what I
yeah.
mean? Just straight up.
Like
just
what you mentioned last time
yeah,
about
right.
the Moors.
Yeah, they were just shown things or whatever, and they just adapted the culture. And you know, I think about like what was it, like Western civilization, or like from Rome, like the Pope, like that hierarchy and how that kind of like spilled across, and like just the control that they like maintained or whatever. I guess.
Yo,
like,
you know what explains it really well, for me anyway? Game of Thrones.
yeah. See now,
you
y'all are
watch-
thronies.
When you watch that and you see like how everyone is from these different areas and they're vying for the ability to control the 7 different kingdoms, right? There's one kingdom that wants to control all 7.
He doesn't
And
know what you're talking about.
I know he
Yeah,
doesn't,
nah.
but
He doesn't.
but
watch it.
still, but in reality, that's what it is. Like if you look at history, there's always one person that wants to control everyone else.
Yeah, right.
And that's how the war happens, because it's like, no, I'm gonna do it. No, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna be me. So everybody starts fighting, and then like the whole idea of slavery, because people like to throw out, oh well, there were slaves in Africa. The point of slavery when it was in Africa was not about chattel slavery.
Right,
it was about conversion. So if you're an Ashanti and I'm a Mandingo, you finna be a Mandingo because we catch you.
Yeah, right.
That's
right,
what
right.
it is. You
Yeah,
could
right.
marry into the tribe. You could become. I think you could marry the chief's daughter.
Yeah, right.
Like at that point. But that's the way war happened back in the day until it became, oh, this is absolutely wrong.
Yeah.
And this whole judgment came down because I'm not doing what you do, and you want to tell me. You want to rule me, and you want to change everything about me. So, and the only way that you do that, because you have to have one story. So they
Right.
went around the world telling that one story.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, let me
Yeah,
believe
right.
this.
Right, like
So-
I'm
Roll
sitting
with
in
it.
social studies class as a kid. They talking about the Civil War. Why y'all didn't tell me the Civil War was about damn slavery? I needed to know
the
that then.
Confederates and the
Nope.
Yeah.
what was it? The Confederates
the
and
north, the north, the
Shit,
northern,
the north and the
shit,
south.
the north and the
Yeah.
south. Now
But
I
you're
knew
right.
it was about they
I
they
didn't.
made it
In
about
6th
slavery.
grade?
think,
Yeah, I didn't look like
school.
that. Yeah, 6th, 7th grade. I didn't
Sixth grade,
know.
I remember reading
they
the book
make-
Because
about
in the books they don't say it's
No.
about slavery. They try to.
Yeah, and I remember reading a book that was like going back and forth, like was required reading for class, and it was talking about like the Civil War, and then it was going back to this reenactment where these kids were playing like cops and robbers almost, but it was Confederates and in the North, like, but they were fighting it. There was never a mention about slavery. It was about
Damn.
industry.
That's wild.
That's what they talk about when they talk about the Civil War, not the slaves. And they talk about it being about like, you know,
But was it?
changing the whole way economics ran and all of that.
Right, exactly.
But and the real issue
But that
was
is kind of it though. Like they were holding. That's why there was slavery, because it was economical.
yeah,
So
it was
like
free labor.
yeah. So I
That's
don't know
the
if
other-
it's wrong to say that. I mean,
but no, because then what happened is the North had more like industrial things like machines.
Yeah, right.
And so like the production was faster, but the South was like, we ain't giving this up. This is free money. We don't have to pay for workers and all of this stuff. You about to change the whole, like it changed the way of living.
Yeah, right.
Like I needed my teacher to sit up there and say, slavery was the biggest form of capitalism in the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I needed that.
Yeah, right.
Right, it was the blueprint.
Yeah, right.
Shit, we're gonna get these slaves to do all this work.
Man,
I mean,
like all profit.
but it's the same thing that happens right now in business and stuff like that too. Like
Do you know,
get
like,
the lowest labor.
Do you know insurance companies were started because of slavery?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I don't know the whole story.
They're losing their, for the cargo coming over, they're losing their slaves, and then over here they're dying off. So, and actually, the first insurance company to have a policy of a slave was in Connecticut.
I mean,
good old Connecticut.
Yeah, right. It's the insurance capital of the goddamn world.
And now you know why.
If you stand in the middle of downtown in front of the old state building, right where the bus stop used to be, it's not there anymore. But if you look up, there's 2 flagpoles, and on the flagpoles, the seller and the slave.
Damn.
In the middle of downtown Hartford.
Still right now?
Right now. Drive there after you leave.
We might have to get a little crew of people and go knock them motherfuckers down.
And my other issue, they talk about, you know how the sports teams got their particular names, and like the Redskins are still allowed to be the Redskins.
Yeah.
Yo, we should get a team and call them the White Skins.
Well, no, did you see how some guy made a shirt? It said the Caucasians. Yeah. You should have saw the comments.
Yeah, but do you notice how when white people hate to talk about racism, but they love to scream reverse racism? How the fuck you believe in reverse racism but not real racism? That's the dumbest shit ever, white people. Get it together.
Like HBCUs. Why do y'all have a black college?
Yeah, right,
why do you have only black only spaces?
Yeah, right.
Y'all got the world.
Yeah, right. It was totally necessary, yeah.
Like, did y'all forget growing up there was some big signs that said coloreds only, whites only?
Yeah.
Whites only pies.
Really?
I wonder if like coming generations.
That went right over his
head. You gotta mess with you.
Yeah. Get me some. Well, how much to make one of them white only pies, right? Yeah. You lose the now I'm thinking about Eddie Murphy buying a gun.
With his toes in the bottom. My toes stuck in the bottom. All right, we got off track. Racism.
Right.
Oh, man. Y'all some damn fools, man.
So,
but I mean, that's what I was gonna say. Like generations and generations later, like I wonder if like some folks don't want to feel responsible for, that what happened that long ago, and I don't know if they weren't involved in it or if they didn't feel it or they didn't. You know what I mean? Maybe it's harder for them.
They're feeling the effects of it, just like how we still feel the effects of what our ancestors went through.
But see now, and that's the thing, right? Now I thought about this one time, long time ago. When I was born, right? I was just born a little damn baby, right? Creamy, right out the right you know what I mean? Right out the womb, right? Right? I didn't know shit about being black, about being whatever, right? So like, I feel like that stuff. Once you're told that you're black, that stuff is. It's like, oh, here, take all of this, take however many years, and boop.
Yep, it's all yours.
Throw that on you. You know what I mean?
You know what's interesting? I didn't find out I was black until I went to school.
Yeah, like did it?
And
like,
I'm clearly.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't know till a boy told me that I was a nigga, and I had to ask what that meant.
Yeah.
And the adult told me black people.
That's wild.
And I went home and I asked my mother, I said, did you know we are black? And she was like, yeah.
Did you know? I didn't know there was a difference.
I didn't. I mean, we all watched Incredible Hulk and Wonder Woman and, all of that.
But we're just kind of like given that. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, here. You know what I mean? Like take that. Like sometimes I wonder what it would feel like to. I mean, I know that at some point society's gonna tell me just like you got told at school, hey, you're black. At some point, I'm gonna be told that I'm black. But like if
But
you
what if
were
you
not right, exactly.
Yeah,
like what
like
kind of
Clayton Bigsby.
OJ and Tiger had to find out the hard way.
yeah, right, yeah. Because they didn't realize that they got
Jay-Z told y'all still nigga.
Yeah. I don't know, but
that
like
whole
does
episode
it,
of that's what I said, Clayton Bigsby, that was brilliant.
Yeah.
In the way that he did that. Like there's a black person who doesn't know that they're black.
Yeah.
And the people around him chose not to tell him for whatever reason. So it's like when you think about that, like I remember going to a forum about racism. Shout out to Charmaine Tripp, it was at her job. But it was called The Audacity of Race. And they said at this forum that race is not real, but racism is. Race is a made up construct.
Yeah, it is.
Like
It is.
right. And I don't know. There's so many little weird things about the shit, and I think that some of it just leads back to like just like people, and people are shitty because if it was the other way around, I'm like, for me to sit here and think like, okay, so let's say that black folks was in control of the government, in control of this, like, would I just assume that all black folks would be nice to all? Hell no. Like, I think that whoever's in power.
Not after this. I think originally.
I think even originally.
I think originally, if you, and this is my opinion, I think if you look at the way the world was set up before colonialism, people welcomed them in because most of the people were tribal people, and tribal people are loving. And the colonizers were conquerors, right?
Yeah, right.
It was kill, destroy, violence.
Christopher Columbus, thieves, murderers.
Right.
Whereas, like, a lot of, and you think about it, like, a lot of the tribes in Africa didn't get thrown, like, they didn't show up and just kill everybody. Some people left. They showed up and just moved in. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's like, oh, the killers is coming, y'all might want to go. You know what I mean? So I think, I lost my train of thought that I was going to say, but I think,
Nah, you're saying how? So you think that if the tribalism attitude was
that's why colonial invaders were able to get in,
right?
Because the people were like, oh, you need some help, come over here, we got you.
Right?
You need to eat, we got you. You need some clothes, we got you. And then they was like, oh, they let us in, we about to steal all this shit. Like, you know what I mean? That's like, you let us in to eat and we rob you while you go to sleep. That's exactly what they did. And I just don't think
I want to shout out those states that changed Columbus Day to Indigenous People Day.
Shout out.
Which that should be like across the country. It shouldn't have to be state by state doing it.
But I do think there's still some states that don't celebrate Martin Luther King Day. So.
Oh, you know what else too? And I want to stop calling the West Indies the West Indies. Cause ain't no damn West Indies. It's not West India. Let's switch that too, because this dumbass thought he was going to India.
And why had we knew for so long that he was an idiot and still was celebrating him? Like, you learn in elementary school that Columbus discovered America, then you go to college and it was Amerigo Vespucci. Like, why?
Right.
But then, you know what's crazy? If you look at the map of his travels, there is no way in hell he discovered this. It's almost impossible.
I mean, into like there's people before him. Like, I just think that, like, come on, like, you think that he's the only one. They're the only ones who figure out how to make a fucking boat. You know what I mean? Like,
just like cornrows turned into boxer braids.
Oh, shit.
We know how that goes, people. He might not have did nothing. He might not have never left Europe, and all of a sudden he's an explorer.
Yeah, right.
Well.
Big old.
I do have a question though. I saw this on a meme and it made me laugh. So, how they travel the world for spices and don't season their food?
Oh.
Say you kill all of these tribes for the curry.
Right. On that note, that just told you we ain't solved the world's problems yet.
No.
But we'll see y'all next week.
Use more than salt and pepper.
Make the potato salad with no raisins. They be getting freaky on there, man.
They just throw shit. Like, oh, we got this in the fridge.
I had to say they put what was it? Avocado and some other shit, and it was like egg salad. I don't fuck with egg salad.
I don't know.
What is that?